So once we've filled out the balance sheet, we can now go to the basket and dashboard illustrations, which is really the heart of Nest Egg software. So let's click on the basket illustrations. I'll come back to this in a minute, but I'm going to zoom in first on basket settings so you can see a little closer what I'm talking about. So in the top left-hand corner of the Baskets Illustrations tab, you'll see the basket settings. You have 6 different variables that you can set here. You'll see in this scenario we've allocated 0 money to a balance of 570,000 assets. That 570,000 is the total amount of assets that we've filled out earlier in the balance sheet. What we need to do after we set these variables is to apply that $570,000 to each of the 4 baskets and distribute that money to the 4 different baskets. But the 6 variables that you can change here are your desired income, inflation rate. Inflation rate is first year of retirement you're going to make $50,000 in income, and then the next year it'll increase by 3% and will continue each year by 3%. That's what inflation rate means. The short-term rate is the amount of money that the basket earns after you've cashed out the basket itself and you've liquidated it. So for example, you may have some stock that is making 5 to 6% in the basket, and then once you turn that in and liquidate that into cash for your revenue stream, you're not going to spend it all at once. It'll go into some kind of bank account and you'll still make a short-term rate. That's what this rate is. The base year is the year that your planning started, and the retirement year is the year that you wish to retire, and then retirement duration is how many years, like it sounds. All these variables, these are 6 of the 18 variables in the baskets illustration that you can change, and you can immediately see the effects of those changes on your overall retirement plan. So once we've established our initial basket settings, this is the part of the software that takes a little bit of thought. What you're going to do is take your assets and place them in, distribute them, if you will, to each of the 4 baskets. Your short-term, lower risk investments, CDs, things like cash would go in basket 1. This is the stuff you're going to pull at retirement, and therefore early at retirement, the first time you retire. The cash flow will come from basket 1. And the later stuff at the end of your retirement would come from basket 4, all the way off to the right. What these settings are is the duration is 5 years. You can set it to whatever you want. That's how long do you expect to pull money from that basket in retirement. And then the amount is how much needs to be funded in that basket at this growth rate to be able to meet your expectations and the 6 basket settings that you assigned earlier. Now, what's a real handy feature, we've added this calculator that tells you the minimum amount needed to fund that basket based on the basket settings that you've already applied to the 6 variables in the blue box. So we go ahead and click that, and as you saw a minute ago, it's actually overdrawn, or was overdrawn, because no money had been allocated to it. So based on the settings that we have in the blue box, this is telling us that we need $202,000 in basket 1 to be able to fund the plan as we have it today. And then you can do that for each basket. It'll show you the minimum, calculator will show you the minimum amount that you need. And as you do that, you'll see the values change in the blue box at the top left-hand corner, that is showing how much of these assets have been used from your total balance available. So in the basket grid, what you'll see is, for example, in this case, in 2011, we had $202,000 in basket 1, which is what our calculator determined that we needed here, and it's going to grow at 4%. We're not going to retire until 2017, so here you can see how that fund, that basket, has grown at 4%. And then in 2017 we start to draw from that basket for retirement. It's color-coded. All the baskets are color-coded, and they show you where the money's coming from to be able to give you a big picture and a specific picture of where the specific funding is coming from for each year. Your desired income is $50,000, so it's going to have to find $50,000 either between the basket funding or funding that was in your balance sheet other sources. So everything's kind of color coded, and it's easy to match up and see where the money's coming from and how your various scenarios are being funded. So for example, we can now start playing with different variables and see what the impacts are in our retirement plan. let's say, for example, instead of 2017, we're going to wait till 2020 to retire. You can see the data automatically moves, and you can recalculate now, because if I'm going to wait an extra 3 years for retirement, I don't need quite the amount of money. So we'll drop from 202,000 to 180. And each time you do that, you kind of want to recalculate each of the baskets, find out what you need. And then you can see the total impact from each basket, the growth that it has during that basket, and where the money's coming from. So looking at the last 4 columns we have here, we have other income, basket income, total income, and your total basket assets. So in this given year, for example, you can see that we needed a total income of $63,000. We started with $50,000, but with inflation 18 years out, we now need $63,338. Well, we're going to get $32,000 of that from basket 2, the orange color basket, and I'll only need $32,000 because I'm getting $31,000 that year from pension plans and other things that were in the other income sources. And then the total basket assets is how much money you have total in assets still left in your portfolio. So again, it's all color coded and gives you a real crisp picture of what your retirement planning income looks like, and you can change the variables all you want to. In total, there's 18 different variables. You have the 6 basket variables, then there's 3 in each of the 4 baskets, and it allows you to play with the different scenarios and see what the outlook looks like.